Welcome everybody back to a live stream of The Junkman. I'm The Junkman, and sit back, stay a while, ask a question in the chat. Don't forget about the super chat. Use that little $ if you want to donate $1 or more. It'll highlight your comment in the chat, and you'll help me support this channel and getting better equipment and such, just like trying to replace my camera back there so I can make better videos. Anyway, are we getting any sound? Can somebody confirm that we're getting sound? Sorry about this. I had a technical difficulty the last stream, so I want to make sure I have some good sound here. It should be set up right, but anyway, glad you're with me. And looks like we got some good sound there. Thank you guys in the chat. We got a few comments going here, and we'll get right to it here after a little bit of house cleaning. Hopefully you've watched my latest video up until this stream here, where I restored a Tonka forklift. If you haven't seen that video yet, go back and check that. Let's see, other things here. I got some other projects I'm working on in the background. I know my videos aren't always, my video output isn't always consistent, but I have to do this between real life, just like everything else, and any money donated here goes back into the channel, so feel free to do that. Visit my website, links and all that. I always forget to say that stuff. That's why I'm doing it at the beginning of the stream. I should make a checklist to read off of, but I just kind of wing these, and I like some good back and forth with us in the chat. But we got some people saying, commenting on the topic is general shop chemicals, common shop chemicals that you should have around on hand anytime. We're going to go through a bunch of them that I keep around, and these are not everything, obviously, but it's the most common ones that I use more often than not. I have them across my bench here, and I'll bring them up to the camera and show you. We got a commenter here. My favorite chemical smells are carb cleaner and orange hand cleaner. You don't like Loctite. Yeah, I don't like the smell of carb cleaner. It kind of gets to me, especially the good stuff. Orange hand cleaner, honestly, I don't really use that stuff. I don't find it that great, but anyway. But anyway, I encourage some questions in the chat. And if you're watching this archived, I encourage you to leave a comment down below of some of the chemicals you use in your garage or your shop for the stuff you do. And oh, one other thing I want to get out of the way before we get to this. I'm not sponsored by any of these products here, so what I show up here is just a general representation of a type of chemical. Just the one I happen to have on hand or the one I last bought. But I don't really endorse any other brand unless I truly believe in it. But I'm not sponsored by any of these. They didn't pay me. I bought all this with my own money and everything here. So and all of them are open and I use. So if I have been sponsored by one of these in the past, I'll let you know. But actually, I think only one of them here I've done a sponsored video on, and we'll get to that when it comes, and I'll let you know. But otherwise, nothing else here. I'm sponsored. It's just what I use. So I want to just start off with, let's start off with cleaners. Since the first commenter in here was talking about orange hand cleaner. Well, I'm not going to talk about hand cleaners, but that is a good one if you're into that and you have a garage sink and stuff, you know, your hand cleaner. I just use, since we're talking about just regular old dish soap, and occasionally I think it's Mac 1 or something. It's something from Napa. It's got like a cherry smell or whatever. But anyway, let's start with cleaners. First one that everybody's seen, maybe you've used, Simple Green, and obviously I need to get some more of this stuff. uh, general, all around, biodegradable, very good for various degreasing operations. This is a concentrate, so got a squirt bottle. I mix some up depending on what I'm doing. I wash my floor with this, wash my workbenches, various parts sometimes. But this type of cleaner I particularly like I said, not sponsored, but I particularly like Simple Green. But that isn't the only one of those kind of disgreasers. I also really like this stuff here, Full Sol. It's very similar, biodegradable, all that. I find this is actually better for like oil-based grease. It's a lot thicker. Again, it's a concentrate made by the Fuller Brush Company down in Great Bend, Kansas. And actually, I really like it, but it can be diluted for various others. Actually, it works better if you dilute just a little bit. Full strength, it'll sit on things, but it needs a little bit of water to kind of activate it there. But that's those are my general degreasing kind of cleaners. I don't happen to have any on hand. I actually just ran out when I thought about it. But I do like some of the spray-on foaming degreasers. I forget the brands out there, but I just buy this whatever's on sale. Those work good too, and those are maybe something if you're doing if you're doing really greasy parts. Now this is general. Another thing, some kind of glass cleaner. I kind of like these aerosol ones, but you can, Windex, whatever. Good for cleaning up some other things here. Glass cleaner, something to keep around as well. As we're moving along here, let me see, make sure I don't. Okay, yeah. Now I'll lump this kind of in the cleaner because WD-40. I don't use this stuff a lot because honestly, there's better stuff for out there these days. But this is a very good adhesive remover. Good basic protection against rust and stuff. Cleaning up tools and things. It does attract dust a little bit and stuff, so that's why I don't use it a lot. But I think no shop should be out without a. That's why I have a small can here. Like I said, it's kind of a good cleaner. Water displacement, that's what it was originally for. So it's good for that kind of stuff. But the original formula blue and yellow can here. I know they have some other products out there. I've tried them. Kind of thing. But since we're on the topic of that, some people would use WD-40 maybe as a rust penetrant. I don't find it works very good like that. It's not really designed for that either, but some people think it is and use it. So a good rust penetrant oil, and you guys all have known this brand. It's pretty, PB Blaster. This might be my preferred brand, but I've used a lot of others, and they work pretty good. I also know, I'm going to give a little shout out to some of you guys might, Project Farm is the channel out there. He's way bigger than me, but he kind of did rudimentary tests of some penetrating oils. His results are interesting. I almost wonder if the validity of it, they were all came in pretty close, outside of a few that really didn't work very good. But anyway, PB is one I like. But also I do like this stuff. This little corrosion release, it's kind of a cryogenic release. Using temperature variations, kind of like as you'd use heat, only this is obviously cold. According to the can here, it gets it down to -38. Can help release things. This stuff works pretty good too. But in certain situations, again, that's kind of. Let's ask the chat, and if you're watching this recorded, leave a comment down below. What is your favorite rust penetrant? I would like to know here. Let's give you guys a little bit of chance to respond here. Just tell me, you guys that are viewing live right now, what is your favorite rust penetrant? I like PB Blaster in this Loctite, but I've tried Liquid Ranch. I've also tried WD-40's rust penetrant. Actually, I do have a can of that in there. I don't find it works quite as good as PB, but maybe it's just this has been around the shop and my parents' shop and stuff for 25 something years, or 30 actually now. Jesus, I'm getting old. uh, but yeah, so I guess that's arguably maybe it's the brand recognition there, but you know, rust penetrant's rust penetrant. As long as it gets the job done, doesn't really matter. But all right, let's move along to like I said, a commenter mentioned, and man, this can's a little empty, but I have other cans up there. Good old carburetor cleaner. Again, I don't care what brand. I just use any brand. Obviously, this is the Walmart brand, but you know, this is, like I said, a staple in my garage. I go through this all the time. Not just for cleaning carburetors, although it's primarily what I'm using it for, but any cleaning off any kind of grease and stuff and gunk out of little passages and places. So sometimes I'm using this almost as a cleaner because it'll dissolve a lot of things that regular, you know, this kind of stuff or the other the other degreasers out there won't do. So I kind of sometimes use this as a cleaner. Oh, hey, thanks, Jack Boot. Give me a couple bucks there. How about penetration heat for stuck nuts and torn? Yeah, I mentioned that. This kind of works on the opposite. Yeah, heat. Okay, you can't use heat everywhere, obviously. Like if there's a risk of fire and stuff around it. But yeah, if you guys have watched my videos and other things, you know I come from an agricultural background, farming and things, and farm equipment, tons of rusty bolts and everything on equipment stuff. And yeah, that's where torch and rosebud, you know, heating up big like 2-inch nuts sometimes to get off there, to get them broken loose and things. Sometimes have to resort to cutting them off. Torque screws, fine. It's metal, steel, alloy. It's all the same. You just gotta be, you know, just gotta be aware of what the Torx is going into, because you know that heat's going to travel down that bolt or that Torx screw. Typically, Torx screw stuff is going to be into something that you probably don't want to heat up too much. That's why something like this might be a better option. But sometimes you're just going to be cutting that head off or using an easy out to get it, get those things unstuck. But look, anything's the right tool in those situations to get them out. Moving down the line here, carb cleaner. With the carb cleaner, the other staple that I just go through, I pretty much buy this by the case. Brake cleaner. This is the CRC brand. I use store brands, Walmart brands. Just, it doesn't matter. It's all basically the same in my mind. This is another, obviously, cleaner, but it works good for like grease and stuff. Use this because you can kind of blow things away. But yeah, brake cleaner. I have actually 5 cans up, and this is, like I said, one that's almost empty, but I use this down till it don't spray at all. But this is the VOC compliant one. Whatever, I don't care. It all works kind of the same. Kind of along that line, I should have, a little out of order here, but something like this. Some of this stuff. This is B12, Berryman's, you know, they're Seafoam. I like them all. But this is kind of a good in the tank thing. Now, doesn't, you know, doesn't do everything. It's not like Drano for your engine. I think there's a commercial out there that uses that slogan, and I hate it because no, just no, that's not how that works. But whatever, I guess it sells product. Anyway, I've had good luck with this stuff, generally keeping things. I use this as like a maintenance kind of thing. But any of those that this one's the cheapest. I'm kind of cheap and dirty here with this kind of stuff because even though I use it, and maybe it's a little bit of placebo effect, it's you know what? It seems like it does do something, but that's why I don't spend like Seafoam. I buy it when it's on sale and or like a 2-for-1 kind of thing, because like I said, it's a little snake oily, but there is some validation to that. Again, that YouTube channel Project Farm did a thing on these kind of stuff, and they actually do something. So it's not a total waste of money, as some people might say, but again, they're not miracle products either. Hey, Michael Burl, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate that, that guys. Stable. You know what? That's one I do have. Along with this is kind of works a little bit like a stabilizer, but yes, some kind of fuel stabilizer. If it's Stabil, the actual brand, or others. Yeah, those are good to have. I didn't think about putting those on there. I guess I'm trying to think more general garage, but I guess most people have power equipment, so I should have included that. But yes, a fuel stabilizer. And you know what? While we're talking about it, good old Marvel Mystery Oil. I don't use that stuff that much, but I do keep some on. And it seems to do something for the engines that I run every once in a while. So yeah, that's great. Getting along the line. Oh, I guess let's back it up a little bit. Get into some of these here. Depending on the type of projects that you work on, wax or grease and tar remover, wax and tar remover. Paint prep is what we're doing here. I've been doing a lot of restorations of toys and things where I'm spray painting things eventually, or putting some sort of coating on. This is good stuff to have around if you're doing those kind of projects. Like I said, we're trying to run the gamut here. So I keep a lot of that around. And on the same line of that is isopropyl alcohol, not 91%. For cleaning up, like before applying graphics or something, and sort of painting, but then I want to run across that, and of course a tack rod. But cleaning up oil and grease from your fingers, or the oils on your fingers, so certain decals and really sensitive applications and things. Like you've seen in my videos, I've used this obviously before graphic applications on motorcycle tanks and things. So yeah, there we go on that. I kind of forgot to mention that. And the big one here, we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but going back to carburetor cleaner, acetone's another good one. I just didn't have my bottle. I'm all out of it. But yeah, and actually that can work as a paint thinner for certain paint technologies too, acrylics and things. So yeah, acetone is another one. But the gallon of carburetor cleaner, and don't use this all that much. This stuff's pretty nasty. This is the original formula, so it's the good stuff. But I've heard they've kind of toned this stuff down, so when this is no good, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But don't use. I mean, I use this, but don't use it a lot because it's pretty caustic. And gets on your hands. It's there for weeks, and you're smelling it on your hands. So that there too. Let's see if we're going along that way for getting rid of gunk and stuff out of the car. Now here's the only one that I've done a sponsored video on. I just did one sponsored video, so this isn't a sponsored video, but that's why I have this. Metal Rescue, a rust remover bath. Depending on the projects you do, this is a concentrate. I know there's other brands out there. This is the one that I found that works pretty good. There is some recipes to make your own stuff at home, but if you just want to buy one, I recommend this one specifically, but there's others out there too. I just want to let you know there. Hey Dan, thanks for joining us. Feel free to chime in on what some of your favorite or general chemicals. We're asking the question, what's your favorite rust penetrating oil? Dipping or spraying, Jacob says. I'm sorry, we were running on a little bit of a delay here. The Metal Rescue, thank you. This is for dipping. Now, I'm not aware of a spray. Now, I didn't bring it over here because it's not, I would call, a common chemical, but a rust release gel. That's one that kind of sticks on there and then it'll fall off. So if you're doing projects where you need that kind of thing, navel jelly is what they call it, I think. But there's other brands of that. But yeah, this is I have a whole video on this. I should have linked it below, I guess. But if you want to see this stuff in action, I have a whole video about that. I don't want to spend too much time on this because it, like I said, scope of it is just showing you different chemicals to have around. You know what? Somebody mentioned lubricants, and we're not going to get into like motor oils and things of that nature. I stay away from oil topics at all, like my two-stroke oils and such. I mean, I guess if you ask me what brand I like, I'll tell you, but I don't willingly. I don't get into that. I have a philosophy about that, and works for me. But anyway, we'll get into some lubricants here, and that's two different things here. Now, granted, this depends on. We'll start with these. Depends on if you have pneumatic tools, a tool oil of some sort. You know, there's all different brands. This is just one that I had around here. Actually, Blaster makes a air tool conditioner. I use this a little bit. This little can goes a long way, so I've had this for a long time. But keeps my tools running optimally there. I've had no troubles. It keeps even. Now I have some good tools, but I do have my junk like Harbor Freight type tools, and this keeps them running actually pretty well. Whoop, sorry. Other thing that's good to come handy to have around is, of course, anti-seize. I like to just have the copper base because it's the high temp, but there's the silver too. Use this a lot. I anti-seize just about everything. Any bolt I take out of anything generally goes back with some anti-seize, especially on motorcycles and cars, because saved me a lot. You know what? Even if I'm not the one that's going to take the bolt out again, I like to pay it forward, I guess you could say, for the next guy, you know. So, kind of important here. So, next we go along. Well, let's skip around here. Another thing, if you do a little bit of electronic stuff or wiring harness things, you know, some electronic cleaner of some sort, corrosion release. This also works as a pretty fair cleaner on stuff because it won't damage a lot of different surfaces, so it'll take off certain grime without affecting the base material, whatever it is. So actually, not just electronics here. Actually, I found this to work pretty good with kind of as a mild degreaser on certain things, you know. So kind of good thing to have around if you're doing that kind of work. Okay, back to kind of the lubricant. It's a silicone spray of some sort, a silicone dry lubricant. This is just one I had, you know. They're all pretty much the same. I mean, there's ones that are food safe and all that stuff. That's for like food prep equipment and whatever. But anyway, handy to have for different things. This one I particularly like, I guess, versus a few other brands, is this one doesn't seem to attract the dust as much. I mean, they all kind of do, but this one seems to leave a more drier film, not that more wet film, so that's pretty good. I like that there. Again, going with that, you know, a lithium grease and such, for little parts that aren't spinning but just move a little. You know, obviously they show some door hinges, but applications like that, you guys know what this is for, but it's good to always have it around. Now, this is another type of dry lubricant, but it's also kind of a release agent. So this will keep certain things from slipping. It's kind of I found it good for like when you got nylon to steel and stuff. Even though nylon is a little bit self-lubricating, this little aids it. But it, like I said, it's real dry. You don't even feel it when it's on there, unlike a silicone lubricant where you can kind of feel that. Um, this is a little more specialized, I guess you could say, but I like that. But kind of going along that is this product here, Slip Plate, which is a graphite lubricant. Kind of goes on like a paint. Use this in a lot of different places. You can get creative. They actually have a couple different formulations, but anywhere you got metal to metal, where oil or other traditional lubricants can't stick or stay, or you don't want it runs in the dirt and stuff, because this dries and looks like paint, but it makes a real slick coating. Eventually wears away, so it's something you have to kind of, a coating you have to replace over time, but it works pretty good. This makes it so kind of dirt and things don't stick. Now, not this particular formulation, but they make a formulation for like mower decks underneath, so the grass doesn't stick, or less likely to stick. I've heard mixed reviews on that. I have not tried it myself, but this stuff I like for various things like that. But kind of a limited use there. Going along, another lubricant is just a tube of grease, and I kind of prefer marine grease for general purpose applications and stuff. I actually use this for greasing the lips on air filters on my dirt bikes and things. Ones that don't have the thick foam that are non-greasable, but most of them are like this. Or I put it around kind of those the pod filters and stuff. This keeps it just makes a little extra seal, and a dab will do you this stuff. So I prefer the marine, waterproof, all that stuff. Generally a lot tackier than a regular Molly, so that's kind of why I like it myself. Great for handcuffs. Yeah. I use graphite saturated periodic wax on my table saw bench. I think you meant there. Yeah. That I would product I would probably use versus this, but you know, this kind of would work too. You've seen me reuse this Slip Plate most recently in the Tonka video, but I also Tonka forklift video, the little screw mechanism that makes the mask go up and down. But I also use this on the Nylint motor grader for where the base of the blade pivots on. So it works. Oh, paraffin wax. Yeah, obviously. Paraffin wax. Yeah, like I said, in woodworking, there's going to be some different applications, but whatever works for you. Kind of moving around here. And this isn't something that most people... Now, for adhesive remover, this works pretty good, but obviously kind of leaves that oily residue. You know, it's petroleum based. I do like... I have this by the gallon because I use this a lot of adhesive remover. And I particularly like this adhesive remover. You can't generally buy this retail. I have to get this wholesale. I have access to it because of my real job. Anyway, I really like this for... this will lift decals even on sitting on top once you... once you put that on there. I really like that as adhesive. Jacob says anything 3M is great. Yeah, in general. Actually, side topic here, in my other life, in my in my real job off YouTube, I work with 3M products, and I've actually been in the plants and in Minnesota. Where their headquarters is. I've been to their headquarters. I've done some various trainings there for various different product lines. So I'm pretty familiar with 3M's industrial products. A lot of the stuff that's not retail. I mean, some of this stuff crosses over. A lot of stuff into the abrasive stuff. And you know what? I'll stop right there. Maybe that's a topic for either another live stream. You guys watching this archived, leave a comment below if you'd like to get into other things like that nature's abrasives and stuff, because that's kind of some of the stuff I do day to day. I'm kind of opening the book a little bit for what I do, a little bit more. But anyway, moving along. Let's see, where am I at? Okay, other things here. Since we're, I don't know, since we're getting a little outside of those kind of stuff, let's talk about some other things. Let's get into a few adhesives that, you can always buy these as needed, but these are things that I keep on time. Is basically like a cyanoacrylate gel super glue. Not all super glues are made the same, obviously, but in general, super glue. So a really thin version, obviously that can wick, and then a gel type. Doesn't matter the brand. This is general bonding here, okay, guys? And I could go on and on and on about that, but on top of that, the appropriate activators. Here's a primer. Use a primer and then an activator. This is a metered mist. Makes the glue instantly kick over. This makes it bond better to certain substrates as well. Obviously, have different ones. This is a toughened vibration, different, and actually this is the activator that goes with this one. So anyway. Adhesives. That's about all the farther I'd go here is keep some super glue around, because you just never know. It's kind of the miracle product. Anyway, Jacob says, speaking of 3M adhesive, I use 3M spray adhesive, works great. Upholster a mini bike seat with it. Yeah, 3M spray adhesives, that's another thing. In general, they're called contact adhesives. You're probably talking about the 74. Yeah, there's tons of different brands out there, tons of different ones. I could tell you a lot about contact adhesives and things, but yeah. I was going to put a can of spray contact adhesive up here, but that gets into more specialized stuff. Not everybody's going to have a need in their shop for a contact adhesive. When they do, they'll buy it. Things like super glue and stuff, you can kind of use depending on a wide range of things. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'll run just because you brought it up. Now here's just one, and actually this is the old design of the can. Just one of their contact adhesives. This is probably more of a general purpose. This is an industrial only formulation. Actually, this is more closely related to like 77, but it's a little bit different. There's other ones. They're high bond strength ones. There's other brands out there that actually, I hate to say it, do it just as well or slightly better for a lot lower cost. But we're not here to talk about that. And yeah, my moderator says there, yeah, don't get me started because we'll be till next Sunday, and that's true. So we won't get into that. Another thing is, and somebody was a woodworker out there, is depending on what you do in your garage, it just general wood glue. This is the most basic of them out there. So, but if you don't work with wood, forget this. But it's always good to have some on hand, even Elmer's, depending on what you're doing, because sometimes you get crafty out here. Speaking of adhesives, and this is kind of running towards the end, but as some type of an epoxy. Now, granted, this is a cartridge based, and I got the applicator. I have the mixing tips too, but again, epoxies. This is actually a specialized for bonding low surface energy plastics, and that's why I keep this one around. But otherwise, just general bonding, you don't need that kind of outfit. You can use the 2 tubes, mix it up. JB Weld, basically. It's good to keep around for quick fixes. This is for plastic specifically, so that's why I keep it around, because it's this isn't available just at any old hardware store. So when I need it, kind of thing. So I don't know. We're getting about to the end here. This stream I knew was going to be pretty short, but Power grab, yeah. Loctite power grab. Yeah, I mean, let's get a little bit of convo going, a little Q&A if you want going. Oh, hey, Jack, thanks for the donation. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, guys. I mean, again, thank you for the support. All the people that have donated in this stream. Most of the time I don't get donations, so that's why this is a big deal, and it's very flattering, and I'm doing this to give back to the community that I've gotten so much from. And somebody mentioned an extinguisher. Yes, and usually you see it in the background of my videos, and this is the one I just keep on my bench because it's easy to grab. I do have a larger one over by the door, one of the doors, and then I got a little bit of smaller one hanging next to each exit out of here. But yes, fire extinguisher always should have one in the kitchen. But yes, a fire extinguisher, you'll always see that generally in the background of my videos and things. But yeah, a little Q&A. What else would you like to know? And actually, what else? Air filter cleaner and oil. Yeah, that's more of a specialized thing. I guess I could go get mine, but yeah, penetrating fluid. Maybe you came in a little later, but yes, we talked about penetrants. I like the PB. I think a lot of people do, but there's others out there, and I've used them. They're all right. I'm a little indifferent about it. That's just the brand I typically go for, but I've tried others, and they all seem to work pretty good. And, trying to... Oh, fit a tire using starter fluid. Okay. Yeah, like that. You know, I thought you were going to bring up starting fluid. And you know what? That's one that you didn't see me bring up here, if you've been watching the whole stream, is ether or starting fluid. I do have a can, but I almost never use it because my philosophy on starting fluid is if you need starting fluid, you're just mad to start an engine. It has its place, I understand, and I'll get to that. So hold on before you leave your comments. But if you need starting fluid to start an engine, that means you have some other problem that you're not dealing with. And it's usually a dirty carburetor or dirty fuel system of some sort. Or, you know, so it's you know, you're masking a problem. Means that if it's a motorcycle or a small engine, it's the pilot jet or main jet is partially plugged, or you got water in the fuel, or it's in the carburetor bowl, or something of that nature. I understand when you accidentally flood an engine, okay, but that's kind of rare in my opinion, because if everything is in decent working order, the engine should still fire off and it shouldn't flood, you know. But yeah, again, that's about the only time I would ever use it, is if I accidentally choked the engine too much or something, or used the enricher or whatever, primer bulb or whatever on whatever it is, and then I totally flooded it. I might use... That's about the only time I'll ever use it, but typically I know how to start my engines, you know, so that doesn't happen so often. So, and if an engine doesn't start, it's usually because I got dirty fuel, poor fuel, dirty fuel lines, dirty carburetor, plug jet, or whatever. So I don't even fool around with it. Like I said, that's where this is kind of my maintenance item. But again, doesn't matter what the brand is. Using a little of this helps alleviate those problems, but it's not going to solve them. And it's not going to prevent all of those either. But this is your go-to. This is your go-to. But taking it apart. Can't just squirt it in the throat like everybody does. I'm getting on a carburetor rant here, but that's because I get comments day in, day out, and I'm happy to get those. But it's like, it comes down to simple, you know, or if it's been sitting, I don't even try. If the engine's been sitting for a long, long time, it just goes in here. make sure you take all the gaskets and all plastic pieces, and especially Bakelite for the old stuff, because this is going to eat it. This whole original formula is going to eat it. So yeah, but yeah, Jacob says, friend gave me an extra can. I haven't used it yet. Knock on wood. Yeah. Right. That's the thing. I have a can, but it's not. It rarely gets used. I mean, maybe I will use it to start an engine that I just needed to run for a little bit. Okay, but that's not usually the case. Any of my engines, I'm starting them to use them. And I don't have to fool around with it. So, and usually that's the thing. If you're using to start it, it usually means the engine ain't gonna run very good. It's not gonna have the power it is, and obviously efficiency and all that too. So, just clean your carb, or clean your fuel system, depending on what it is. Now, granted, ether, starting fluid, old diesels, tractors, stationary engines, and such, okay, kind of designed in very cold weather, yeah, you're going to use it there. But that's a special use case. Most people don't have those kind of engines, so we're talking lawnmowers, we're talking motorcycles, we're talking chainsaws, we're talking that kind of stuff. Don't use it. I don't use it. The rumor that you can damage engines, yeah, but you know what? I think that's kind of goes back to the older engines that weren't built as well. But these days, that's not as much of a problem. Yeah, it does wash down the cylinder if you use too much of it. But then again, if your engine's flooded, you've already put all that fuel down into the crankcase anyway, so it doesn't matter. I mean, I really got off topic here, but I appreciate you guys popping in here on that and saying that. But yeah, I let's see, guy in YouTube called zip ties and bias plies used about 1 liter a day. Oh, well, okay, check him out. Yeah, you'll have to. You know what? When this channel's live, send me a message. Send me a message through one of the other social medias that I'm on. I'd like to check them out. You won't be able to put a link here. Old diesel cold starts. Yeah, okay. We're getting off topic here. I've watched a few videos, maybe not from that guy, but I don't kind of get the cold start videos. They get tons of views, but I don't really get that. Maybe that fad's escaped me, but I guess there's a viewer for everything. You guys are viewing me, and this is pretty horrible, quality. but I don't know. It's just not my thing. But I have watched a few of them, so yeah, therapeutic. Yeah, you know what? There's some content I watch that you wouldn't think I would watch. Not ASMR, but things like tech videos and stuff. And I'm not really a tech guy, but I do like to keep up on things. So sometimes it's like watching power washing videos. Power washers. That's another thing I don't get. Well, it's kind of like Let's Plays, gaming Let's Plays. The kiddos like them, but I don't. I've watched them. Again, give everything a try, but it's not something that's, oh my god, that whoever uploaded a video of his gameplay, I don't get that, So that's kind of how the cold start deal. I mean, certain vehicles or engine stuff maybe you have nostalgia for, I'll look them up, but I don't have anything against power washers, just power washer videos. I don't understand. I just don't understand why you'd want to watch something get power washed. I mean, yeah, for like 30 seconds or something, but not a 20-minute long video. Yeah, my moderator here watches people opening oysters that give pearls, farm raised in any way. But yeah, I get it. It's a therapeutic. Turn your brain off. I watch/listen to different podcasts. Okay, I'm going to cut this off here, but since you guys are talking about stuff like this, I am just thinking about doing more streams like this. about certain topics. And I'd like to get to do this weekly. But what do you think about that? Leave a comment if you're watching this archived and you made it this long through the whole live stream. Let me know. I'd like to do more of these. Also, I have a buddy that wants to do some like pre-recorded stuff where we talk about topics and things. So it's kind of a back and forth, kind of a little bit like Click and Clack, only it's not a call-in show. But maybe if I had a way you could submit questions or topics, would that be something that people watching now and in the future, is that something that you would like to see? Leave a comment in this video if that is something you would like to see in the future. I am going to do some of this pre-recorded stuff with an old friend of mine. Spring checkups for all your bikes riding season. I did that once, well, last year. Well, with one bike, I should say. Yeah, I could do that. Actually, I should dig out my pit bikes. I have not ridden those things in forever. Maybe that would be a good video coming up here because it's winter time right now for me or most people that are above the 40th parallel. It's pretty much winter time. Maybe that'd be something, because that kind of stuff can apply to just about any motorcycle. They're small, so they're easy to film and shoot and everything. Maybe that's something I should do. That's a good suggestion from somebody here in the chat, from Jack Boot, and you were a donator too, so thank you. Maybe I should do that. Jacob asks, have you ever done a garage walk ring vid? Yes, I have. Actually, a couple of them. I generally do them I do them yearly, or I've done 2 of them, but they were a year apart because things change around here, and this is my garage shop. Yes, I have. So go check my back catalog of videos, and you can see you can see the old ones. They're also in a playlist called Garage Vlogs, but that's kind of a dumping ground for videos like this, so it might be kind of hard to find there. Yes, I have done garage walk around, shows what I generally have here. I've upgraded some tools and things, hand tools. I did a live stream of I got some new screwdrivers and stuff, so getting rid of the pitching the ones that are no good or ones I don't use. So yeah, I do have that. So go check it out. Leave a when you watch that video, and please watch it all the way through. Leave a comment on there, and then I know you watched it, and ask me anything. And that's what this is for. So yeah, maybe I should do more of these streams where we just have a little dialogue back and forth with the chat here. And I know you guys archive people watching the archive stream here probably aren't going to get into it too much. These videos after they're live don't do very good. They only get a couple hundred views, which is fine. That's the thing. I'd make a little money at this, but not making a living at it. It's all for fun. I just have fun doing this. I just have fun doing this, interacting with viewers. I learned a lot from you viewers out there, even though you guys maybe don't have YouTube channels. Some of the YouTube channels you do watch, they're the ones I watch too, and I'm learning from those guys. And this is a channel for sharing my hobbies, and part of it is working on various things. So wanted to show kind of what chemicals I use most commonly here. Anyways, I think we're going to wrap this up. I'm kind of rambling here, as I always seem to do at the end of these live streams, but you guys start interacting just about the time I'm about ready to shut her down. So I appreciate it. We've been going almost an hour here anyways. That's probably long enough for one of these type of videos. So, you know what? If you made it clear to the end of this video, this is mostly for the people watching the archive, leave a comment that you watched all the way to the end of the video. Tell me if you want to see more live streams or videos like this going into certain topics on certain products. I think I would like to do something on adhesives and abrasives. I am going to do some on like paint application or coating application stuff. I got some. Those are going to be way out there a little ways, but I got some equipment that I want to show. And I'm going to be very secretive about that up until. So Small engine question vid. Well, sometimes I do just a general like AMA, ask me anything. That's doesn't have to be tech. It could be anything about me generally. But yeah, subscribe if you're not, and then wait for the next live stream. You can ask me anything. But like that, if you want to learn more about small engines, I mean, I'm not a super expert about everything, so I might have the answers for you. You can also comment on my various videos. I do have videos that apply to small engines, such as lawnmower engine types. Even though they may be working on a motorcycle, the concepts are there to help repair. And my website, I have tons of information. You got to go digging for it, but carburetor to electrical to engine rebuilding, all that is on my website. I don't know that I got a link in this description. I'll have to put one in there. But it's thejunkmanadv.com. So the Junkman's Adventures, but Adventures is abbreviated ADV.com. And then you can find things from there. Again, service manuals for various things up there, and then tons of videos about everything. So anyway, is 1/4 inch fuel line for a Honda J? You know what? I don't know. You'd have to measure it. Those are actually measured in millimeters. 1/4 inch is close to what? 8 or 9 millimeters, something like that. Could be totally wrong. So just buy appropriately. So anyway, I'm going to cut this short here. I'm not ready to get into any of those kind of questions. I want to keep this video its own. Save your questions for the next one, or go find one of my fuel or carburetor videos and ask the questions there, because I answer darn near every single comment I get on any of my videos. And I got approaching 500 videos on my channel. And anytime I get a comment, and I get not a ton, but I get 10, 12 comments a day, and I respond to every one of them. So go ahead and post your questions on the appropriate video, if you would, please, because some people read those comments and will read my responses and may answer their questions. So I like that. Or you can leave a comment on my website. I got a commenting system on my website, so you can leave it on the appropriate page about what it is, ever it is, and there. And no need to sign up. You can post anonymously, but you can log in with various accounts that you may have, but you don't have to. You can just put in a bogus email if you want, and then comment. I don't care, because I don't use any of that data. I don't need to. But so you can comment directly on my website. I would kind of prefer that, honestly. Then it kind of keeps the thread together. But you can comment on my YouTube channel. Doesn't matter. All right, like I said, I was gonna wrap this video up like 5 minutes ago. So let's do that. And I sure appreciate the donations I got. It helps. It helps. Every little bit helps. Watching the videos, just watching them all the way through, is a form of support. That is a way you can support me without having to actually give me any physical money. So, because it just helps signal YouTube to put my videos out there some more. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to cut her off right now. Thanks again.